Hey everyone, it's Donna here, and welcome to Noble Conversations. And I'm going to be having a discussion with the lovely Tamu from Live 360. So I'm waiting for her to join. But please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Or a wave. I hope you can hear me. Excellent. Thank you very much. And thank you, Fitness with Melissa. I hope you're well. Thank you, Bernice. I'm just waiting for the lovely Tamu to join. How are you doing? Are you good? Haven't done a live for an absolute age, so it's really strange being on here. Hope Tam hasn't forgotten me. Good, I'm great. I'm glad you're good. So it's just going to be a conversation with Tamu. We've got no agenda. Just going to come on here and just shoot the breeze. Feels like one's waiting an eternity when we're waiting for someone to join. Oh, the retreat was amazing. Thank you. It was so wonderful. I wish I was there now. I can't believe. But everyone seemed to enjoy it. The Tamu's just requested to join, so I hope she'll pop on soon.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, you left me hanging there, Tamu.
How are you?
I'm good. Very good, thank you. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry, my mum popped round, so I've had to shift and station myself in the kitchen so I've got peace and quiet, and so she can spend some time with my daughter. How are you? It's a delight to be here, Donna.
Yeah, I'm good, Tamu. A bit nervous. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so thank you for
bit rusty.
Give me that proverbial kick up the butt, so to speak, and be here. But thank you for joining me and coming here. So first and foremost, Tamu, why don't you introduce yourself and everyone know a little bit about you?
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tamu Thomas. I am a coach and I work with over-functioning, over-giving, basically women who have people-pleasing tendencies, who work too hard. I help them to slow down, work smarter, work more effectively, and have more money and more joy in their lives. The purpose of my work is to help the women I work with, let me just put my charger on, to work smart so they can work less and live more, because we forget that the purpose of work is to support us to live, and we organize our whole lives around working and don't give ourselves enough of a opportunity to enjoy the fruits of our labor. So we end up in a world where we're left with the scraps of ourselves and we give everything to work. So we're not zooming out and seeing the bigger picture and creating a work environment that supports us to be the best we can be and supports us to do our best work. We end up with doing busy work, trying to do all the things, spinning our wheels, and then wondering why we're depleted and not making the profit we want to make to enjoy the lives we want to enjoy. So yeah, that.
Thank you, Tam. I think I've lost you a little bit there at the end. You're back. Excellent.
Sorry, I've got a time limit on my phone and I keep forgetting to take it off on the days I'm doing an Instagram live.
And that's good. Thank you, Tamu. And everything you described, I can so resonate with. I was there and I still am there in certain respects. So it's just so hard. And some of these things you described, Tamu, we deny them. I'm in denial about a lot of them. And it was yesterday it came up and I laughed thinking about you because I had to teach a Bikram class. I haven't taught one for an absolute age because I've decided to be more mindful with my time and work where I want to work type thing. But the opportunity came that I could teach to a studio in LA online. Ooh. And Tamu, that dialogue that I learned 10 years ago is so deeply entrenched. And I doubted it, but my body knew that, but my brain was like, no, you need to be perfect. and there was some workmen appeared outside Tamu, and I thought that was a sign. They were making whole heap of noise, and I thought, nah, I can't do it. I sent a message, then deleted it saying we need to defer it, and then they disappeared. And then I still didn't believe my body, and I flipped a coin twice, and the coin was like, get online and do it. And you know what, Tamu? I went on, I loved it. And the dialogue just flowed out. And I know my shit, so to speak, but still trying to be twice as good and make sure that I'm perfect. And it's like, you didn't have to, it was there all along, and you know your stuff. So why aren't you owning that you are a capable individual that's done so much, and take the credit for it?
Do you know what, Donna? I think it's really hard. I think that the society and the system in which we live is rigged against us. So we live in a society that very much teaches us to have like an all or nothing attitude to things. So if I'm not being perfect, if I'm not doing especially as women, if I'm not doing exactly all the things in the way I need to do it, I'm not going to bother do it, because someone somewhere is going to judge me. And if they judge me and think that I've done something bad, my internal message tells me that that means I'm bad. And then on top of that, you said it very quickly just now, twice as hard. There's an additional layer when you are a person of color, particularly a black person, because one of the narratives we grew up with is you've got to work twice as hard for half as much, because we have been brought up to believe that we need to overwork, we need to overprove ourselves, we need to go the extra mile and work much harder just to be seen as human, never mind equal to people with lots of gifts and talents. So that creates an environment where we feel like we've got to be the best version of everything just to be accepted. And we were taught that as a way of protecting ourselves. We were taught that as a way of us being able to get on and be successful and place some guarantees on our future. So when we don't operate in that way, we've got a very deep unconscious message that tells us if we are not perfect, if we are not outstanding, that's not good enough. So there's so many things at play. People talk about self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, but our brain is wired to conserve energy as much as possible. It is not a good use of energy for our brain to really operate at its full capacity. And our brain, we don't need to thrive. We just need to survive. So our brain will always default and try and choose the path of survival. So when you're choosing to do something outside your comfort zone, when you're choosing to do something imperfectly, when you're choosing just to show up and see what happens, because there's no internal script that helps you predict what the outcome's going to be, your brain starts doing bits and bobs as a means to try and protect you. So you not wanting to show up, it's not a simple thing. Your whole organism is trying to protect you because it's receiving that in a similar way to the way we used to receive a threat of danger that would cause us harm. So we've got to be really, really conscious. We've got to be super intentional. We've got to really learn how to back ourselves so we can say, guess what, brain? You don't have to do this because I'm not actually putting myself at risk of being eaten by some kind of saber-toothed tiger. I'm actually putting myself at risk for a bit of criticism, and I could be criticized because I decided to wear skinny jeans. You know, everything is up for criticism when you put yourself out there. So we just need to let me remove that because it's not simple, but we need to find ways of reminding ourselves growth, development, and all of that stuff is difficult. It is challenging, but it's not insurmountable. It's not insurmountable. We can do it, and we need to be clear, and intentional with ourselves. And also, we need to give ourselves enough space in the first place. Many of us trying to do new things on top of old things, and we really need to have a look at what's working for us, what isn't, and try and clear some of that stuff out before we start doing new things, so we actually have room for this new thing we want to do to take roots and grow.
No, that's so true, Tam. You're preaching to the converted here. But you're right, because all we keep doing, Tam, is doing. The opportunities come, but we don't have we don't take an opportunity to sit back and just think, you know what didn't work, or what resonates with me, what doesn't resonate with
And
me.
also, is this helping me? I'm not talking about being transactional, but is this helping me operate in my highest good, or am I going to have to compromise myself to be able to do that? There are lots of times people talk about opportunities, not missing out on opportunities, but I believe that we need to be intentional. I've used that word so many times today, but we need to be intentional about the things we get involved with. And it doesn't mean we don't do anything unless it's going to help us grow, but we need to start making choices about, if this is going to take away from where I'm going, it needs to be damn worth it. It needs to be filling me with joy. It needs to be something really fun. There are too many times we think that something's an opportunity and it ends up being an energy drain. We end up regret doing it. We end up having the heat, like the Monday scaries, when it's time to show up for it. And I think that, you know, that seizing any old opportunity, that's for your 20s and early 30s. Once you're in your mid to late 30s and above, you need to be really discerning about what you say yes to. And you need to remember, when you say no, you give that yes a bigger opportunity and a bigger space.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because the other thing that I discovered, Tamu, that, you know, you can't receive if your hands full. You have to let go, and that is so true, Tamu. How can you then, you know? And it's like, I suppose the transition for me, Tamu, I changed from corporate to being a yoga teacher, ran all around London, Tamu, and that's still in my kind of mindset, but I don't have to do it. But it's still so hard to say no, and I'm being very intentional right now, like I'm able to do so, and it feels so good, and the guilt's gone, Tamu. I said no to something because, you know what, it's going to be too much hassle. I'm not paid for that anymore. You know, I love staying in my house right now. When I had my house, Tamu, I never enjoyed it. I kept saying it's not my forever house. Had no time to enjoy it. But now I'm spending more time here, Tamu. I look around and think, you know what, this house hasn't got your personality, and I now want to, you know, stamp my personality on it, because I've got time now. I'm not looking to the future. I've been able to sit back and chill, and it's so refreshing, Tamu, because rest is part of our DNA. We're designed to rest, not this hustle, bustle culture that is becoming so ingrained in today's society.
And you know, this is the thing. We are told we should work smart, but we are taught to work hard. And there's all sorts of, whether it's from faith or like religion or whatever, the devil makes work for idle hands, this, that, and the other. We get taught that grind is the way. You've got to work really, really hard. Now, I'm not against effort and hard work, but like anything, there are seasons and times for everything. We get so used to like really ramping up and being in the top of our sympathetic nervous system. You know, that part of our nervous system helps us get up and go, but we want to be in it all the time. So it's like having a car and constantly revving the accelerator. The car's going to end up getting jerky and spluttery. It's not going to be able to cruise and cover the distance. It might go like the first short burst really fast, but then the ride is going to be jerky. What we need is to trust that we can get going, work out what our pace is, and honor our pace. If we move at a pace that is honest and true to us, and a pace that enables us to be the best of who we are, as opposed to not one hit wonder, but like booming and busting all over the place with inconsistent output, if we can trust that it's safe for us to work at our pace, we'll be able to cover longer distances and be intact, basically. What we end up doing is rinsing ourselves out. Everything is urgent. Everything needs to be done yesterday. Everything needs to be like at a toxic level of efficiency where it's not even efficient anymore. It's not making any sense. And then we've got like exponential rates of stress. I was listening to a podcast yesterday where the man on the podcast was talking about illness we have and microbiome and bacteria and this and that. And he was saying when he was studying medicine in the 90s, the likelihood of somebody being impacted by cancer was 1 in 4. 1990s, noughties, 20s, in the space of like 20, 30 years, that has now gone up to 1 in 2.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the research says lots of different things, but I don't think it's unreasonable to hazard a guess that our stressful lifestyles are contributing to our ill health and creating dis-ease, and that is manifesting in things like burnout, stress, chronic illness, Crohn's, IBS, all of these enduring things, fibromyalgia, things that people are being told are a syndrome. People are called a syndrome when people don't quite understand, when the medical profession doesn't quite understand it, and therefore isn't able to diagnose the symptom and prescribe something that suppresses the symptom. Like, we weren't living like this before. We were living with a lot more uncertainty. We were living with a lot less safety, and we didn't have all the resources we have available at the tip of our fingers, and we didn't have all of these illnesses we had before. And when you think about the fact we are living longer, we need to give ourselves exquisite levels of care, so that we have got good health throughout the arc of our lives, not just in our youth. And sorry, going on to another tangent, I think that's why youth is revered so much, because we believe the health we have in youth no longer can apply to us in our older years. But if we actually start taking good care of ourselves, if we teach young people from the jump what it is to take care of yourself, I'm sure the health outcomes we have throughout the passage of time would be a lot better than what we have got currently. And these people that are running around like a blue-ass fly, if they are making money, they're not enjoying it, and they're doing lots of work and the money isn't matching the work they're doing. And in both of those scenarios, on the other scale, where people are generating like a really sexy income, they're running around from pillar to post, so they're not able to enjoy it. Number one, because they're so busy, and number two, a lot of people, like entrepreneurs like you and I, people that we know, people that we've kind of come up with, a lot of them have come from a background that may be working class or lower middle class, and they're making a lot more money than their parents were at that stage in life, but they still have the embodiment of scarcity of somebody from a working class background, somebody who struggles to make ends meet. So they're scared of the abundance they're creating, and they don't know how to manage it. So they may make money but not know how to hold on to it, or they may not know where their money goes because they haven't learned the art of tending to forming a relationship with abundance that they can sustain, instead of going through all of these boom and bust cycles. It really, really, this busy, push, plays havoc on our nervous systems, which impacts everything we do.
You do, Tamu, and I'm an example of that, because you know I came from a corporate background and I became ill with Bell's palsy, and at the time I refuted that it was stress, and everyone said it was stress. I was no, it wasn't. And now even my mother at the time said, Donna, you're stressed. I became monosyllabic. Just everything was like, if you said jerky, you know, I had no time to have a conversation. It was just a one-word answer to your question. But my body caught up with me, and my body made me slow down. I had the signs, but wouldn't slow down. And I had to. And that was the wake-up call, Tamu. But I look back now and I see at the time that I had a new job in management. I used to always, Tamu, be under the radar. So I didn't want no responsibility. I was enjoying life.
Let me be free.
I went 360 time. I was enjoying life. My friends will tell you, and I tell them, when they meet my friends now, don't tell them about me. I never worked. They'll tell you, I never worked a penny. I went to work, Tamu, but I hardly worked at all. I did the minimum amount.
You better mind people don't start asking you to return the pay that you collected all that time.
Exactly. And my friends said it's going to catch up with me. And it did, Tamu. But I used to go into it and do the minimum. I loved it. And I left work on time, went into media, loved it. My mistake, Tamu, was going into the city, getting promoted, Tamu, responsibility. My body rejected that. It didn't like it at all.
And you know what, Donna? I just want to interject, because it's not just blasé responsibility. Working in those corporate environments, working in the city, the culture is that you give your life to work. So it's not just responsibility. It's like literally your life force energy is all channeled
Yeah.
to working,
You're
and
right.
there's crumbs left for your
Yeah.
life.
For your life.
So
Yeah.
if you're using so much energy for work,
Mhm.
you're left with very little, which means in order for you to live just an ordinary life and meeting your needs, you're going over your bandwidth. It's
Yeah.
like you're constantly going into overdraft. If
Yeah.
you want to start enjoying yourself, having experiences, seeing your friends,
Mm.
then you're going way over
Mm.
your energetic overdraft.
Yeah.
So then you're in debt.
Yeah. No, and that's so true, Tommy, because I used to go out for dinner and literally was falling asleep at the table because I had, you know, all week, you know, you're at your peak all the time.
Yes.
And it wasn't sustainable. And the weekend came, had no time for anyone else because I was just knackered and didn't
Yeah.
realize that. And
Yeah.
the thing of it is, Tommy, was I can work very efficiently. And I used to get my work done like half day. But I had to sit at my desk, Tommy, pretending to work. And because they didn't look at it in a way that you could be productive in a short period of time, you had to be the entire time. So I went to leave work time at 5 o'clock. I'd get bad looks, like I was leaving. I
Yeah.
came in and was turning around to go home. But
Yeah.
I'd done my hours, Tamu. But that was the mindset they had there. You know,
Yeah.
and when Blackberries came in, oh, Tamu, that was it, because they could
You're
get you
on all the
outside
time.
of work, you know, all the time, and it just completely changed. And that was the worst thing. But I'd never, Tamu, go back to that. But it's so difficult, and I've got friends that are still in that environment, and they said to me, Donna, we need a new job, a real job. They believe that what I'm doing is not a real job because of their mindset, but they can see I'm happy, so they begin to see that. But it's still, as I said, Tamu, deeply ingrained. And every once in a while I have to catch myself to say, Donna, you know, rest is part of what you need essentially, and don't get back to that old way.
Because what are you left with? What are you left with? If you think about Bronnie Ware and her blog post, which became a book, The 5 Regrets of the Dying, in all of the people she spoke to in palliative care, in all of the people who were at the end of their life, I think maybe they were cancer patients or something, but none of them were saying, oh, I wish I worked more.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody was saying, everybody was saying, I wish that I thought about what I wanted more. Mm-hmm. I wish I'd spent more time with my loved ones. Mm-hmm. I wish I'd made more time for joy and play. Mm-hmm. And I know that, you know, you can sit down and say, well, it's easy to say that on your deathbed, but you need to make money. But we need to start getting smart. Like a lot of people, like I work with people, women, and so my work has shifted, so it's more like hybrid life and business, whereas before the focus was on life coaching. Mm-hmm. And when I ask women to do a deep dive on their finances, personal finances, what's coming in, what's going out, business finances, what's coming in, what's going out, I'm met with terror. Because people have become so avoidant and have been so used to avoiding the topic of money, people are terrified to look at the reality of their financial situation. Now, there are some people who are living beyond their means and they're in debt and whatever else, but most of the time, when people take a deep dive and have a look at their finances, they can see that what it costs for them to live good, not well yet, but for what it costs for them to meet all of their needs and they're cool. Maybe they haven't got money to go to Santa Barbara and buy whatever fancy things. They realize that the cost of living is lower than they appreciate, and there's a number of things they can do without. And I'm not into sacrifice and not having things you like. I think make more money so you can have the things you like. But they start to think, damn, I've had $14.99 coming out of my account for 10 years. I don't know what that $14.99 is. And things like that, because it's a relatively inconsequential number, but $14.99 120 times, that's a lot of money that has just gone into the ether. Yeah. People have memberships and subscriptions they're not even using, but they keep them just in case. So it's about being really clear about what you need and being honest about the life you want to live and what, not just finances, but who you need to be able to create that life for yourself. Yeah. When we can take that into consideration, when we take stock on that and we are holding ourselves to that level, we can start to see possibility opening up. But when we're avoiding, we end up like just running on a treadmill with no purpose, no direction, no intention. The only thing we're trying to do is avoid the vast unknown, or avoid the shadow we have made our finances and whatever else. And when we do that also, we can take stock and we can celebrate ourselves like, actually, I'm better off than I thought I was. Actually, if I stop looking at short periods of time, if I zoom out and look over the period of a decade, look at all of the things I have created from fear and lack over the course of a decade, what if I was to consider that right here, right now, I have got enough, and from this place of enoughness and sufficiency, I can then start to operate differently, so I can start to welcome in abundance. Yeah. It's a totally different way of being, but we really need to take responsibility and ownership for who we were, so we can release who we were and step into who we want to be.
Yeah, and that's so true, Tamu, because that's what I've started to do, because there's things that I've accomplished and didn't even realize it, that, you know, I started to create that residual income. It's something I wanted, but had created it, but it was there, but I wasn't utilizing it in a way that served me well. And now that I've been doing that, Tamu, I can choose what I want to do, and I'm not so driven by the quick cash, because that's what happens sometimes. It's like, oh, the quick class that will pay me this, as opposed to the bigger projects or the longer term projects that will serve you better and give you greater reward. And it's flipping that mindset. So a lot of us, as you say, Tamu, I've got platforms that I'm on that I've started to pay for, but there have been, you know, smarter things that come out that are for free, and I'm still paying that membership where I didn't have to. So you're right, it is taking stock, and we're afraid of reality, but sometimes the reality is better than we think.
Because with the reality, you've got a place to land, you've got a place to be grounded, and you can grow from. What happens is, imagine like this is reality, but we're avoiding reality. So we start building from here. Well, here's got no foundation. Yeah. So any setback, anything that happens, you're flip-flopping all over the place. When you're grounded and you're working up from that grounded place, you're able to develop roots. So you start to understand your values, you understand what your needs are, you understand what you need to be you, to be the youest you can be, and then you're able to grow from that place. But we're scared of going there because we think if we go there, we're going to get consumed by all our past trauma, all the things that happened in the past, when actually those things that have got beautiful learnings, and we can grow from there. And that is, you know, that stuff can be really tricky, and we can't see everything because we've become so skilled at hiding from those things because we think they're going to cause it or not. We like to be led, which is why applications like this work. We like to be led, but we don't want to be led by somebody who we can feel is not standing in their power. We don't want to be led by somebody who is not sure of themselves. We want to be led by somebody who is sure of themselves, because we're relational beings. Energy is infectious. If you're standing in your power and I'm with you and you're speaking life into me, I'm much more likely to stand in my power, and it creates a ripple effect. And that is like real proper stuff. Yes, it is spiritual, but it's also spirituality that has been able to be tested and measured with science. So it's actually something that has been measured and quantified by science. So it's actually a real thing. So I'm so glad you're doing a book tour. You need to be doing a book tour, because as I keep saying, that book is way more than teaching body positive yoga. That is about having a body positive way of life. And I just think, if I'm body positive, I don't mean what we see on social media and fashion brands, but if I'm body positive, if I am positive about this beautiful vessel I am blessed to occupy, if I'm positive about yours, it's expansive. It opens us up. It helps us to feel safer. It helps to normalize difference. It helps us to get out of compare and despair, and we can start to really cherish and honor and celebrate difference. You know, it will really, if we were able to operate in that energy, if we were able to take on board the lessons you teach us in that book and apply them to how we live day to day, we don't have to ram it down people's throats. Just the way we're conducting ourselves will have a ripple effect, as I just mentioned, and will influence other people to do the same.
Exactly. And it does, Tamu, because the reaction to the book has been amazing. You said it, and there's so much. Everyone's saying that, every yoga teacher, and as you said, it goes beyond yoga. But it, you know, I'm just surprised by the words, because I just shared what I'd learned. And as you say, it's like yoga and the body positivity. If we all did these things, the world would definitely be a better place. We'd live together in the way that we were meant to.
Exactly.
No separation, you know, because we are all one.
And even if there was separation, because like I think if you look to nature, there are some places where some types of flora and fauna thrive and some don't. But we're not going to look over there and say, well, I'm better. So I'm going to come and oppress and colonize and be supreme to you. You're going to recognize that that is different. It's not separation, it's difference.
Yeah, exactly. And difference is to be embraced. You know, wouldn't the world be a boring world if we were all the same?
Exactly.
You know, it'd be
exactly.
So respect.
And you know what, sorry, what you were saying with create your own opportunities, something else that happens when we are involved in the online space, and it becomes one of our main ways of communicating with people, building community and sharing our offers, marketing, we can get caught up in believing this is the only way. So you're talking about, you did a Bikram yoga class for a yoga school in LA. You're going to be going on tour with your book. I'm very sure there are going to be, if they're not already, and I'm sure you've mentioned, but I can't remember, like corporate organizations knocking on your door wanting you to share. So it's not just about individual straight to customer using social media as a means to connect with people and form meaningful connections. When you become open to opportunity, you're open to opportunity, period. And when you're open to opportunity comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh, it was alignment, it was whatever. Yeah, it's alignment, but you also created space to be able to receive that. Like what you were talking about before, you've gone from this is the only way to being open to receive in a manner that is a lot more regenerative and expansive than believing your whole livelihood depends on you pointing at things on reels and doing God knows what.
Yeah, exactly, Tamu. That is so true. And that's what I love about being on these platforms. I've got to meet you the first time because, you know, we have to be visible, even though I struggle with it and I'm having to get out there more. I have no choice. But it does help, and it depends on the way you utilize social media, you know, because you know, it's only a highlight of people's lives. So never always believe what you see. And it's so true, because sometimes we have a mask on, and that's why I believe, be your true authentic self. And I can actually say that, Tamu, that's about you. You make me Tamu, and I always call your name when the ears must be burning when I say I come to your raves, because I feel like I'm at school, you know, in the common room, bunking up a lesson, you know. But what we're doing, Tamu, and I said it to you at the last one, is that we're actually doing what we say, what we're telling our clients to do, to rest and to take time out for joy. And it's such an absolute pleasure. You come there, all of us as women, in the
middle of the day,
in town, getting down.
I'm planning another one. I'm hoping that I can, gosh, getting a venue, like when you're actually like, okay, I'm going to do this properly, finding a venue, my goodness, finding a venue to have an event, like a clubbing event, they ask you the ins and outs of everything, but I'm hoping I found a venue that will be accommodating so that we can have an everyday joy Christmas soiree. And because that's another thing, when we're entrepreneurs, when we're self-employed freelancers, we don't get the office Christmas party. We don't get the opportunity to let our hair down and celebrate the year we've had in our businesses. So I'm really, really, by hook or by crook, I will be having an Everyday Joy Christmas rave.
Yeah,
so you can come, all can come and join in the party and having fun in the middle of the day. Because what is the point? You talked about your previous employer, you'd finish your work early, but you had to be there for the whole day because of presenteeism. They just want bums on seats. Why do we do that to ourselves in businesses? If you have done all the constructive work you can do for the day, why are we sitting there forcing stuff that isn't there? Exactly. It is much more productive for us to go and do something that's enjoyable, change of scenery, all of that kind of stuff, because that is going to refresh and renew us to be able to come back to work with more creativity, more flow and more joy. So I think if you're working for yourself and you cannot take half a day off once a quarter or however often it happens to dance in the middle of the day with lovely people, you're not running a business. You're an employee.
Yeah, exactly. And that is so true, Tamu. But it's taken you to show me that, Tamu, because I was, you know, the entrepreneur, but working on my own. But being in community with other women has shown me that it doesn't have to be all down to me only, and that there's support there in places that I never looked for it or ever thought I needed it. But it's shown that support is good, because if it wasn't for your support, Tamu, I wouldn't be on here today for start. And
when I said push,
I know, and I tried to get off. You know me so well. I tried to. You were going to end our session, and then you said, Donna, when are you going to create the live next week? I'm like, oh my god,
Donna, if you work with me, yes to daytime dancing, if you work with me, if I am your coach and we are working in partnership, I'm your cheerleader, I'm your biggest champion, I want you to win. I want the people that work with me to win. And that isn't just about financial goals. Mainly it's about personal goals. It's about you showing up and being the person you want to be for yourself. It's about backing yourself. It's about affirming yourself. It's about validating yourself. It's about believing in yourself. So when I see people are like, just need that little bit of come on, we are, because sometimes, you know, I'm always talking about safety, emotional safety, this and that. Emotional safety isn't about not taking risks. It's about knowing what you need to feel safe enough to take risks. Because life is a series of risks. And sometimes we can get so caught up in our narrative that we need somebody to say, come on, we're going to take that risk together. Because we are not born, we are not made to do things alone. We are made for community. We are made to do things together. So if I see you higgy-haggering and messing around, I'm just like,
I know.
We'll do it together. Come on.
I know. She's such, but just for those of you here, she's very gentle with it. So, but you can't say no to her.
You can't. Listen, this morning with my group, I wasn't that gentle, but sometimes you need somebody that is going to say, stand up tall, come on, we're doing this, so that you can remember who you are. Because it's so easy for us to become submerged with a narrative of fear. We need somebody to, you know, imagine fear makes us do this. Sometimes we need somebody to pull us up so that we can remember we are bigger than the fear. And we can say, fear, you can come. You're always going to be part of this because we need a healthy amount of fear, but you're not taking up all the space because you're blocking my blessings.
Exactly. It's true, Tamu, because, you know, it's almost like not sharing your gift, you know, and hiding, which one did. But, you know, before.
And that's selfish.
It is selfish, Tamu, and I say that all the time. And it's so true. But I used to, and it's coming back, but I used to be so gung-ho because I would say version 1 but the version none. You know, how are you going to know if something's going to work if you don't try it? And you don't want to live a life of regret. And that's what I did in the beginning, but no more. No more, basically,
because Donna, a lot of us think, oh, somebody's going to say something bad about me, I'm going to make a mistake. You, as a very holistic yoga teacher that teaches people about body positive yoga, that has been on this body positive thing before it was trending, what is the worst thing you're going to do? Nothing you do is going to cause irreparable harm. Nothing you do is going to kill anybody. So what now? So I forget to say something, and so I didn't teach the thingy in the formula that traditionally you do. So and I do a workshop, and by accident I say you guys. So what? Correct yourself. You keep it moving.
No, it's true, Tamu. But and it's funny because it's just online. Because in the class yesterday, I had to say to them I was yoga high because everything I said was wrong. I thought I'm yoga stoned. I said I taught too many classes. I'm still up there in my head and wasn't grounded. And they laughed, but they knew what to do, and the class still went on. You know, the world didn't stop. And I'm beginning to realize that more and more, you know, because...
And you know, there's a difference. When you're teaching the class, you're in your majesty. You're on your throne. You're in your zone of genius. You're doing what you do. When we're online, we're also very conscious that this is a place where people buy in to the idea of us and decide whether or not they're going to invest with us. So we also have like the shadow of, you know, people say I don't like selling, and I remind them, if you've got a business and you're on social media, everything you post on social media is selling.
Yeah.
But when we have that, we can hold back because we can get really caught up in what people are going to think. But you want the people that are going to think negatively of you, the people that are going to judge you, you want them to do that. You want them to do that fast so they can clear off out of your space and go elsewhere and make space for the aligned people. There was, I said the other day, there was somebody who booked a call for my Sovereign program a couple of years ago, and she highlighted to me typos. Well, I just said to her, if that is a problem for you, you're not going to be able to work with me. And I cancelled the call. My work is full of typos. I'm passionate. When I'm typing, I'm like, yeah, and this and that, and your rights, and this and that, and the other. I am not going to censor myself and slow myself down by making sure I've got all the typing in order. You know what I'm saying. When I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm not even speaking to your mind too tough. I'm speaking to your heart. I'm speaking to your soul. So if you are too caught up in the fact that I spell your, the wrong type of your, don't come. Don't come. Simple as.
Yeah, it
if,
is.
If you have a problem with me saying, well, because of the structure and the system of white supremacy, X, Y, Z, if you have a problem with me talking about whether it's Black Lives Matter, if you have a problem with me talking about the ways in which feminism can undermine marginalized women, don't come.
Yeah. No, you make a very valid point there, Tamu, because as they say, your vibe attracts your tribe, and then those that don't want to, they can go off. And it's so true, you know, but be your authentic self is the key, because then there's nothing you have to do or be but yourself. And then that's what people will see.
Literally, and you're not going to bed thinking, oh gosh, what if I said this, what if I said that, what if I said the other. So yes, absolutely, authenticity is hard, because we live in a society that has conditioned us for show as opposed to authenticity. But there are a growing number of people who are invested in and who are seeking out authentic connection. We worry about scarcity, we worry that there's not enough. There doesn't have to be 1 trillion people. There just needs to be your people, and you need to communicate with them directly, not just with your words, but with your presence, with your energy, with your intentions. And you will see that you've got more than enough to create more than enough and to share more than enough, because we're not for everybody. We're not supposed to be for everybody.
I would say that we're not ice cream, Tamu, and not everyone likes ice cream anyway. You know,
I don't like ice cream. I only like pistachio ice cream. That's it.
Hey Jay, how you doing? Jay Shree. Yeah, no, it's true, Tamu. But you give me the confidence, and it's always been there. But it just needs, I just need to get on with it. You know, it's like.
See what, Donna? What you're saying about me, you're that for other people. You know you are. You start talking and the light just starts to shine, and everybody's like bathing in your light, which is why we need to see you in spaces. Because also the other thing about spaces like this, you do this recording once. It's sitting on your Instagram. If you're smart, you'll download it so that you've got it yourself as well, and you can put it where you want to put it. So now you are generating light here that will live on when you're doing yoga in God knows what retreat, God knows where, because someone somewhere will be looking at this and experiencing your light then. So it's important that we think smart about, we don't always have to be giving from our personal self for people to benefit from our presence.
No, you're right, because I remember I did some work with Nicola Ray Wickham, and so same thing about not wanting to be online. So what we used to do, we had a Facebook group just for the two of us. So I'd go in there and practice.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then she said, Donna, is this online? She goes, the camera loves you. Why aren't you saying this out there? So it's something that, Tamu, what I tend to do to get over myself is think about the individuals that need what I have to say, because there aren't many of us. So I need to get there sharing the light. And there's some
Donna, imagine there's somebody somewhere I can't do this, I can't do that, I've got this going on, I've got that going on. And you're just sharing your experience of healing yourself from Bell's palsy. You're just sharing your experience. You're not saying because I did this, you can too. Somebody's going to listen to that and think, oh, okay, so she's recovered from a serious illness, stress-induced illness, by taking care of herself. She's not telling me, I love Nicola Ray Wickham as well. I'm going to send this to her afterwards, Bernice.
And thank you, Chris. Loving the conversation. You're saying it's powerful.
Yay! But like, you just think to yourself, you sharing your story in a way that is boundaried and healthy and whole for you. We don't have to be showing people our kitchen sink. Somebody hears that, they're inspired. They start to think about themselves differently. They start to consider ways they can gently and tenderly take care of themselves. When we're looking at recovery and healing and all of that, we always think it's some kind of rapid this, fast that. We don't appreciate that healing takes a good 3 times longer than we anticipate. If somebody is, you are saying to somebody, when did you have, how long ago was your Bell's palsy?
God, 2015, I think.
2015?
No, 2005, sorry.
Bloody hell, 2005. So it's nearly 20 years on.
Yeah.
So that is showing people it's not just a quick recovery fix, it's actually a lifestyle change. So in a world that wants to promise us quick fixes, how to this, quick step this, that and the other, you're saying to people, actually, that's false. You can adapt your life and you make it a lifestyle. You make it the way you want to live. Do you know what that is? Maturity. There's too much foolishness. We want to do this quickly, like we're some small children who can only manage things if it's a quick burst with a quick result. Life ain't like that. And you are a testament to that.
I'm hearing you, Tamu. I always hear you.
I know you're hearing me, but are you hearing me?
I am hearing you, Tamu.
If we start to consider ourselves over the arc of time, not just thinking on what I did last week, what I did last month, what I did last year, and actually look at our life as a whole, we will see how much just ordinary us, not all the exponential things we do, ordinary us, we have got the capacity to provide really rich and nourishing support for people. If that's the profession we choose to embark on. And if that's not, if we are content and we've got employment that we like, it means that we've got capacity to be more loving, more considerate, more compassionate with the people in our lives.
And that's so true, Tam, because this journey showed me not to be so self-centered, which we are in the corporate world. You know, I'm not going to help Tamu, because if I help Tamu, she's going to get...
It takes away from me, and she's going to pass me.
You know, that scarcity, you know, or the crab, or what's it called? The crab mentality.
Yeah, crabs in the bottom of the barrel.
But yeah, I won't help Tamu because I'd rather drag her down than help anyone out type thing. And it's all about being of service, Tamu, because the more you be of service, the more you give, the more you receive. And it's so true. Before, didn't understand that, but now it's just like, it's not a big deal to do something for somebody else. That's what we're designed to do, to be generous.
It's not as if you've only got one opportunity.
Exactly.
Like when it comes to opportunities, when it comes to money, it's like people think if they invest money in coaching, in work you provide or whatever, and I know you do coaching as well, people think if I invest money, oh gosh, I'm never going to get that money again. Number one, money is energy, it's constantly in circulation, and you're in the coaching to grow, so it's going to have an impact on you. Same thing with opportunities. You're not only going to get the other day, somebody with a very big platform contacted me and asked me if I could do this type of workshop, and they asked me if I could do human design. And I said, well, I can do the workshop, but I don't do human design. I am a good blagger. I could have talked it up and talked them round so I could do that opportunity. But no, my friend Jasrina Harlow does really beautiful work on human design. So I said, I'm not the right person. And I referred them to Jasrina. Jasrina delivered that piece of work. If I was in crabs in the barrel mentality and thinking, oh my gosh, if I give that away, there's going to be less for me, I would have deprived somebody with the opportunity to really shine and be of better service to those people than I can. And I also would have been putting myself in a position where I'm denying myself. Because since then, I have got 4 keynote speaking gigs that are like right in my zone of genius. And I'm sure, because I really do believe in the law of radiance, if I was radiating somebody that's lacking, I would not have been getting those opportunities.
Exactly. Yeah. And that is so true, Tamu, because as you say, you sort of rage at a different level, and I can see how that is now, because the type of opportunity that I'm attracting is completely different to what maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So it just shows, you know, how you carry yourself has an impact, and it really does.
Big time. Yeah. Big time. Energy leads, man.
Yeah. Well, Tamu, we could stay here forever.
I know. And my daughter's waiting for me to go to the gym. We've got to go and pump some iron.
I know you've got to shoot off. But Tamu, thank you for joining me as always.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, Tamu. And thank you for getting me out here again, getting out of my head. But if anyone wants to connect with you, Tamu, where can they find you?
The best place would be Instagram. I used to refer to Instagram as my friendship bench, but then I realized it's a bit more like a community center. So come on in to my community center, connect with me there, put me a DM. I do love to have a DM chat within boundaries. We're not doing undercover coaching in the DMs, but yeah, come on over there. That's where I share what I'm doing, where I'm up to. Oh, let me tell you something that's going to be fun. Okay. On Friday, the 28th of October, I'm going to be in Birmingham at the Birmingham NEC with the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival. Speaking of dancing, I'm going to be hosting an Everyday Joy Assembly. I'm going to be on this kind of preacher hype. It's going to be like me on my preacher hype. It's going to be a workshop on creating more joy in your day-to-day. And we're going to be singing. We're going to be singing assembly bangers, like the songs we used to sing.
Joy in my heart.
Exactly. Keep me to the break of day. We're going to be singing assembly bangers and also 80s and 90s popular music and dancing and just having a damn good time. So, have I got a link in my bio? I will have a link in my bio very shortly if I haven't already. Yeah. I would love you to come to my Everyday Joy Assembly. And those of us who live in London, London is not the centre of the earth. Get on the train, come to Birmingham, have some fun. Bring your kids. Right, I know it's half term. All the music will be PG. Let them come, let them learn from young what it takes to be a thriving human being so they don't get riddled with stress and burnout and everything else that we do. Let them normalize, let them understand that having joy, actually seeking out, cultivating joy in the middle of the day is normal.
It is time. I'm going to look in my diary, see if I can make, you're right, it's not the same if I can come up there and join you, because I know it's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
So you can go, do. And Tamu has a number of programs as well. I think some are starting again soon. Check her out, because she is so inspirational. She's helped me in so many ways. I love Tamu to death. And she was hosting my book launch, and people are still talking about now, Tamu. So thank you for that as well. You know,
thank you for
and she's your hype woman as well behind the scenes. So Tamu, thank you. Go to the gym, enjoy, and we'll.
Thank you so much. Take care, Donna. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Bye. Thank you.